Hello, listeners. This is Trenton. Thank you for listening, first of all, downloading wherever you happen to listen to this. This episode is a lot of me being pretty goofy, apparently. And one thing you will find in it, though, is that this is where we really form a group dynamic. Some of us actually sitting here at the table don't know each other very well. Some know each other pretty well. And so there's kind of a parallel between when our group in the game has formed and when our group sitting down at this table to play together is forming. There's a moment where we all get to see what decisions we made in building our characters, and we get to find out why people do what they do and what their backgrounds are, and we just get to learn more about each other. And honestly, that is the best part of this game, period. So I hope you enjoy, and sit back, relax, and listen to episode 4. Roll dice, be nice, and stay tuned. This is the Live to Die podcast.
Okay, so I have a question.
All right, what do you got?
I want to know. So I want to know a little bit more about all of you.
We just went through combat together. We should learn a little.
We should. So I wonder what was your like clique in high school? What were you like?
Oh man,
question. Were you like the nerdy kid? Who were you?
Can we guess each other's?
Yeah.
Oh,
all right.
God, I'm going to end
Who are
up
we
crying.
going first? Let's go with James.
Oh God,
What
yeah.
was James in high school?
I
James
think
was a nerd. I don't think there's any way around
There's
it.
no-
I feel like
I want to say there was some music involved.
James has a high-level cop-out here.
Yeah.
You two
He's
shut
got-
up. You know me better. I
He's
want
got
these
the
two to
easy.
guess first.
All right, you guys guess.
Yeah, I think that you were pretty much like a book nerd,
All right.
like gaming nerd.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like there was
I don't know. Maybe
some music in there.
maybe like yearbook club or
Band.
like you leaned into journalism, so something
Oh, yeah.
surrounding that.
Oh yeah, the school newspaper.
Yeah,
Oh.
newspaper.
Okay. So you're doubling down. I
Or-
hear.
You ran some sport,
Oh.
Oh.
Interesting.
like
Okay.
ran cross
Like cross
country,
country.
like
He's
track.
a
could see
tall,
that.
lanky dude.
Yeah,
That's true.
and I know that he loves running.
Am I allowed to guess?
Yeah, please.
I don't think I should be allowed to guess.
I
I
don't
think I
think you
know
should
too
either.
much.
All right. So yeah. So the high level cop out here is I didn't go to school. I was homeschooled.
Boom.
like-
No clicks.
All right.
I mean,
Nerd.
that's a click, though, in a way.
That's true.
That
Well,
is a click.
So I can elaborate on
Those
that.
kids
so
were
clicky
always a
you
little...
can't even go to school.
Yeah. It's a very small clique made up of you and your sister.
No, because my sister went to high school. She went to a normal school like a real person.
So you just got kind of cast out, man.
It was very uncomfortable. Well, okay, so here let me run through. Let me address a couple of your things first. Music. I did play piano when I was a kid until I got kicked out of piano lessons when I was like 7.
4.
I cussed the teacher and refused to apologize like an asshole.
What was the word?
I say you're on your way to being a rock star, but either way.
Right.
Yeah,
that's
seriously.
I can't remember the word. I just remember that I was an insufferable little kid about that because like the whole group, we all had to practice and people kept messing up and I was getting tired of it. So I said like, I'm not doing that anymore. And I took some private lessons for a little bit, but then it trailed off. So by the time I was a teenager, no music. I was also like really horribly unathletic at that age.
Oh, okay.
Like really god awful. Embarrassingly so.
I'm right here.
Hey, that's my joke. So no, I was not at all athletic. There was no music. There was some book nerd stuff for sure. The few friends I had, because I did have some friends that were in high school, like sort of my contemporaries, and the people I would hang out with were the sort of people. They were like the dregs that filtered out of all the other cliques. Like like you had the nerds, and there was like some of the nerd dregs. Then there was like some of the stoner dregs, and some of the like burnout dregs. And like there's the dregs of all of those that just go off to sit like near the abandoned
The castaways.
that like sit at the picnic tables
misfit
near the
toys.
river.
Misfits, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Those are the people I hung out with, and I had some really great friends there.
Yeah.
And because like I had a couple, because I did like I was homeschooled, but I got my GED and I started doing some college classes when I was a teenager. So like I had some friends through there. And I had a couple of great friends that I actually would play like Pathfinder and Warhammer with. So like, but even that like wasn't the nerd kids that all played that. Like I knew them, But there was also there was some extremely nice people that used to run this tattoo and head shop where I lived. And in the back of the tattoo and head shop, they'd play Dungeons and Dragons and Magic. So it was like me at 17 and all these like late 20s, mid 30s, like tattoo artists all just hanging out playing Dungeons and Dragons in the back of their shop. And eventually they started stocking Magic the Gathering cards just so they could buy them from themselves from the store without having to go somewhere else. So we just hang out in the back of this head shop playing Magic the Gathering every Friday night. And it was awesome. They were so kind. And like, I remember there was times I was struggling with something or sometimes I was fighting with my family. And the guy was like, that could be really hard. They just like all treated me as like a nephew sort of figure. It was a blast. They were great people. So that was my sort of high school clique.
Right on. Older men. We'll talk about that later, James.
Lots to unpack there.
I think Jane was a pretty good kid. Like, well-behaved.
So I know this answer too, so I can't.
I think that you're into art, so I imagine you like did some amazing art shit back then.
Are we talking like valedictorian good? Like
no, just well-behaved. Well-behaved.
Okay.
We're definitely talking about Victoria.
Yeah.
No, I feel like Jane even referenced her high school pedigree earlier in one of our episodes.
Did she?
Yeah.
But it's just a reference. I don't
That
know.
shows
Jared,
how much I'm listening.
Okay, so you're saying, do you even listen to this podcast?
So you're talking
We're on a
like
podcast.
like a goody two shoes.
That may be a little mean, but yes.
Oh,
Okay.
You are goody two shoes. You may be like
what about
Yeah.
athletics? Any athletics?
for Jane,
Whoa.
gymnastics.
I was thinking like dance, not gymnastics, but
Wow.
Interesting.
Okay,
Oh,
so
you're a little. I don't want to be mean, but you're kind of tall for gymnastics.
okay, well,
does that
that's
mean-
hilarious.
to address the gymnastics issue, I actually took gymnastics from the ages of 4 to 6, and I too was kicked out. Not because I was an asshole, but because I was so bad at it.
Oh,
Yeah, couldn't do a backward somersault. I started with my sister and 2 of our friends, and it was like honestly really sad how quickly they all progressed through the levels of our gymnastics studio while I stayed at level 0 like the entire
And
time.
they're like, you can roll forward.
Yeah.
So roll forward. Okay.
Just roll forward. Well, really, it was
where's
just
this
that like
kid's mom?
you had to pass this like level exam of being able to do a backward somersault.
Yeah.
Like, what?
That seems hard.
What?
Why?
And I remember I was like having such a hard time with it that they even gave me this like mat that was like a weird
Yeah.
isosceles triangle.
My dad used to coach gymnastics and was a gymnast, so I'm like listening to you, like poor
Like this
Jane.
all makes sense. Literally couldn't do it on the mat, couldn't do anything. And I'm pretty sure like the teacher was like nicely to my parents, like, I don't know if this is for her.
Does she
So
play
no.
piano
Yeah. So
or draw or anything?
yeah. Anything else? No gymnastics, no dance. I was the captain of the soccer team, I'll have you know. Played
Nice.
soccer for 15 years. Classically trained jock in high school.
Classic.
Wait, there's
Classic
one more.
word.
There's one more facet to this.
What is that?
Prom queen.
Oh yeah,
You were
that
prom
as
queen.
well. As well.
Oh.
Yes.
Right.
Runner up 2 years in a row.
Oh,
So
was it homecoming queen? Is that
Homecoming
so you
queen.
are-
Popular
Runner
kid,
up
'cause
to
you
the
went
prom
to how
queen.
many proms?
6.
Whoa, that's a record. I think
Math
that's a
doesn't
world
make
record.
sense, so we'll come back to that when we
Well,
talk
you
to
know,
James.
I got at going with older people. You know, a couple other
Yeah,
schools.
I know, that's what I mean.
That type of thing. Yeah. So
Did you party at these places, or were you pretty good? Don't make yourself sound cool.
There's a good story that we'll get
Decline.
to later.
All right.
I,
answer for
no
another
comment.
Yeah.
No comment on that. My parents might listen.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
James was
Just
into
kidding.
older men, and so were you.
Exactly. Yeah. That's actually
Something
what
you
we
have in
have in common.
And we went to the back of
Actually,
this tattoo shop. And
yeah. Another very quick anecdote was that I had this friend in like middle school, and I remember we were like, "Oh my God, we're going to high school. Like, who do you think we're gonna date when we go to high school?" And of course, being the like jockey soccer players, we were like, "Oh well, we're obviously gonna date like jockey dudes." And I remember her being like, I really can just kind of see you with like a nerd. Like, I feel like you should date a nerd. And I remember at the time being like, I
These are
can't
the
believe you would
conversations
fucking say
Why
that
would
to
you
me.
say
Middle
that?
schoolers were having.
Yeah, exactly.
I
I was like,
Do you want to come play Halo?
Yeah.
yeah. But I just remember being like very fun. I was like, how could she think that I would date a nerd? Like, what what does that even mean? And then,
Your friend knew you better than you.
well, yeah. So then we lost touch. Haven't seen each other. Haven't talked in like 9 or 10 years. Like a year or two ago, James tagged me in a Instagram post that was like D&D night. And I just out of the blue get this message from her that goes, I fucking told you.
Yeah.
Like,
Does she
Friends
do,
like I told you so from afar.
does she do like tarot cards now or anything?
yeah, I know. I feel like maybe she has a career opportunity there. But yeah, so I was kind of the jock type.
Okay.
Mm.
All right.
Yeah. The popular jock.
Yeah. Yeah.
Pop jock.
Pop jock.
Classic. It's a classic jock with a little dip and popular kid.
Yeah, exactly.
Dip.
Exactly. Little dip. What about Trenton Sperry over here?
Yeah, what do you guys think?
You were nerdy.
Theater.
God, those are both correct.
Yeah. I was going to say.
I was
Nailed it.
but to
That's
be,
not a
to be
dig.
fair,
Honestly, of the
No.
stories, it's like I wish I would have done theater in high school.
It was honestly a lot of fun. To be fair, though, the clique that I actually hung out with was like choir kids. If there's a difference,
Yeah.
there's a lot of overlap there,
Yeah.
I think.
There.
Do you do acapella?
Yeah, oh God, I did. Even for a little while, we were like,
"What's your favorite movie?"
oh God, no.
That's
no.
Jessica's favorite. If she was still here, she'd fight you right now.
I'd probably lose.
She was also a jock in
That's
high
the
school,
nerd
so maybe.
side. Yeah. But I even went to like individual churches, like with a acapella group, like doing hymns in an acapella group.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Love it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't.
Love it.
Yeah.
Made you the man you are now, or the person? I don't know.
That says a lot.
I remember when I met you, I was like, all right, I could see you kind of being like a lifelong nerd. Like you read a lot of books, you know. And I thought it was a surprise twist that you were also kind of a theater kid.
Why is that?
I just remember I didn't know you that well, and you were kind of this like quiet newspaper editor at the time, and then you just got down to Hamilton one night, like the whole musical,
sure.
word for word, while we were like in the car or something. And I was like, damn, we got ourselves a theater kid.
Love it.
Nice.
Yeah, there was a drive down to a gaming session once where Trent and I were both just, what Hamilton song was it? We were just belting in the car.
I think it's one of the King's songs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the first one.
Sure.
You'll be back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That one. That's all we
good
can
one.
legally get away with before Disney. Before
Disney
Disney
will
lawyer
have your
copyright
ass.
ninjas just repel through the
Yeah,
window.
they burst through your front door.
If not the wall.
It's like somewhere between the Kool-Aid Man and a like Special Forces Extraction. They all have the mouse ears on, the windows shattering as they come
Half
through.
shield, half Kool-Aid Man.
Yeah.
I'm in the Family Guy bit where Peter's recording in an NFL game.
Yeah.
And the FBI guys like burst through the windows. They're like, do you have the express written consent of ABC and NBC? And he's like, just ABC. And they just like blow up his TV with their guns.
I think there's an old Simpsons joke I love about that where they're out in international waters. They're like, out here in international waters, you can rebroadcast NFL games with implied oral consent as opposed to express written consent.
The funniness of that joke is that's how the Navy like streams NFL games on the Armed Forces Network.
No,
That's some surface Navy shit though. Submariners, we don't get football.
like, it's like I
What,
grew
do
up.
you get anything?
Yeah.
Our food's slightly better until it runs out.
Sure. Then it's really bad.
And then it's like beef stew and rice.
And you don't know where that beef stew has been this entire time.
Oh, we know.
Oh,
It's been in these huge cans on the floor and we've been walking over it because we don't have anywhere else to put it.
I do remember because as a kid, we didn't have a TV in my house growing up because my mom's a bit of a hippie. And I remember we lived overseas for a little bit when my dad was stationed over there and we got a TV finally. And all we had was AFN.
Yeah.
And if anyone who hasn't grown up around military communities, one of the unique things is that AFN gets a lot of its programming either for free or reduced because they don't sell ads. Now, of course, they're not going to reprogram the blocks in order to program TV in there. So they have to fill the ad time in shows, commercial breaks, with non-ad products. And so that means like anything the ad council's ever produced about stop, drop, and roll is still just burned into the back of my head. You gotta stop, drop, and roll. Stop, drop. And then you get like the Ken Burns. So like football was the worst. My dad would try like with the time difference and he'd stay up late to watch a football game because they have giant commercial breaks, right? And so they would just fill it with excerpts of like PBS Ken Burns photos of national parks. So it'd be like 2.5 minutes of just slow pans of national park photos set to right free music. And the only thing worse than that was, Jason, you might be one of the only people who's ever seen this. Do you remember like the weird psychedelic CGI animations in like the mid 2000s they do? They'd just be like, it would look like something out of a like Mobius art concept art. It was just like weird metallic body person floating on orbs in space.
On AFN?
Yeah. Oh my, dude, it got weird. It was like
funny.
2 minutes of that to fill like football commercial break.
That's funny.
Weird.
It's like the first Adult Swim.
It, honestly, yeah, it was like an unhinged Toonami. Like it was if they were even higher.
I was going to say unhinged. Wow.
Yeah.
This kind of brings me to my guess for our friend Jason Combs over here,
Oh,
High
yeah?
School Click.
Mm-hmm.
ROTC, dude.
No.
No.
Oh.
I guess I shouldn't say anything. I should just listen for a while. and
I'm
see.
going to say, I would think that. I would think possibly jock type football or wrestling, some sort of sport.
Okay.
Sleeper nerd.
I'm going to say a little bit of, I'm going to guess some outdoorsmen, whether that's like camping or surfing, like some nature dependent hobby that while you were somewhat into it, other people have made their entire personality. And if you're listening to this and that's your personality, thank you. And we appreciate you.
Yes. Please don't leave. You're the only listener we have.
Anything else?
I'm going to say like the kid that drew death metal
Oh.
drawings in his book.
Or on his folder or on his
through
Jansport?
most of class. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think I gleaned a little bit from when I drove you up here last
Probably.
time, and I know that you were a hellion, a bit of a hellion.
Oh.
I did have a bit of a rebellious, I like to have fun for sure.
Sure.
Mhm.
And that fun usually existed outside the bounds of law.
Let's just say certain moral
I mean, it was
constraints.
like, the typical stuff, rolling people's houses and beating up mailboxes and that kind of nonsense.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Harmless stuff
A
that
ruffian.
other people had to pay for.
So
And then I did play football, but not till my junior year. I was a track runner. I was a sprinter. Pretty good. I was varsity my freshman and sophomore year. Moved to Indiana, started playing football. Yes, a closet nerd.
Mhm.
I used my sister and brother-in-law as like an outlet to be nerdy, where I had I was a jock, but I was also what I would consider like a social chameleon. I would fit into a group because I needed to fit into a group. So I was in choir. I was part of that group for a while. I was pretty religious in my first couple years of high school. I like lobbied to get prayer back in school and like all this crazy stuff.
So
Yeah.
what's funny is I was the same way.
Yeah,
Actually.
I was I was a deacon when I was 19. I
So
think,
just
at
like
my
how you guys
church.
are now.
Yeah, super religious.
Exactly the same.
But yeah, I did a lot of different stuff. I was the president of my class before I moved to Indiana. But I was like, we weren't as good like varsity blues, like sports, but like we all kind of had a group of people that got away with a lot of stuff in a small town. But once I was like getting picked up by the cops more frequently, I decided it was time to move in with my dad. And that's where things kind of refocused, and I became a football player and enjoyed it. I was also always in a serious relationship with a girlfriend. I was engaged my senior year of high school, not to Jessica. So yeah, it was weird.
So you're
Weird
going to fall
times.
into the category of serial monogamist?
Hopeless romantic.
Oh, that too.
I'm a hopeless romantic.
In addition to like I said on the previous test recording, being like, I hate camping, I hate games, I also hated relationships and all the things that have now changed.
This is funny to talk about on air because most people aren't going to know this. I always had a girlfriend to hide being bisexual, and that was like a big part of it. So I was also closeted in high school. And that made high school not fun. I really didn't enjoy high school.
Yeah.
I'm surprised that anyone does.
Yeah, people say middle school was worse, but no. I enjoyed
Fucking
parts of high
loved
school,
high school.
and like when, and I'll say you may know when you're popular, things are kind of better. when I went to Indiana and I wasn't popular anymore, I think that's when I personally like changed into a more not so much of a dick.
Oh yeah. I mean, like being a tween and teen is really just horrible in that, like, it's so true. It's all the movies are true that if you go out of your way to try to fit in with people, your life is a lot easier, you know, and it is better that way. But yeah, kind of shitty. My guess for Jared was something that you said, which was I was going to go for social chameleon. I feel like you were fitting in. I think I'm going to say that there was some music in Jared's repertoire of clicks.
I would definitely say sports because that's what his podcast is now.
I was going to say football.
Yeah, I would say football.
But I think that there's a chance that there was like some hidden music hobbies in there.
I'm going to say definitely some sports, but I think an emphasis on like a family culture around sports, like the time into or like the watching. I'm like, there's some of that in my family. That's much more like my dad's family than our direct. But like, I think there are those families that have that like developed culture of enjoying a sport together or of like really enjoying the experience of the barbecue or the time around it. That's kind of my guess is there's probably some background there in the like enjoying game day.
I also feel like you may have been into computers before the rest of your friends were, but that maybe not.
So social chameleon for sure.
Okay.
I was like, I was like such a chameleon that I think if I went to a high school reunion, no one would know who I was. Like I kind of floated.
It's like outside the circle guy.
Yeah, wasn't
what's his name?
everyone friends with him?
Yeah, that kind of is how that feels. I didn't actually play sports at all. And that's like one of my biggest regrets. It's because I'm like, I think that like I lacked a lot of confidence in high school, and so I didn't try those things. And I was a percussionist. I was a drummer.
Okay.
I say that.
Literally told me
I say
that.
was. I still technically am.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm just
Cool.
not practicing.
Cool.
Yeah, I wish I had played sports. I wish I'd played football. I was like 6'3", like 235 in my junior year of high school. And
You
it's
should
just
have
like
played
such
football.
a wasted. I know, right?
Did you not
such a
have like
wasted-
coaches and other adults like, bro, you need to play
Hey,
Oh my
football?
God.
giant
not.
human.
Yeah.
You need to play
Yeah.
sports.
I did in like 5th grade because that I was like the size of an 8th grader, and so they wanted me then. But then I was just like a soft little baby. I just wasn't tough enough. And then I just like I leaned into the music thing, and I leaned into pretty active with my church. We grew up Southern Baptist. Had a lot of friends there.
Oh yeah, Southern Baptists for sure.
Yeah.
It's a really active community.
So yeah, I mean, really, I like had friends a little bit everywhere, and so I just kind of floated. I was never like the head of the clique, but I was like, I know this guy, I know that guy, I know this girl, I know that girl.
So you talking about joining sports? It's like if your high school isn't very good at a sport, they are like seeking out the kids who could like maybe fit into that mold. And when I was in high school, my family hosted a German exchange student, and she was like 6'2", like really tall, really strong. And I was friends with this girl whose dad was the basketball coach at our school. And so like the first day I show up with our German exchange student, her dad just looks at me and goes, "Does she ball?" But like, she's from Germany. She's literally never seen a basketball. Like maybe she's seen a basketball, but it's like, she did not play. Like they are only soccer over there. And so she comes and they're like, please go out for basketball. Please go out for basketball. So she does, but she is like a really gentle person and did not like playing basketball at all. And so it was
Especially
like,
if she's big.
yeah.
Yeah.
And so she was like just so perfectly built to play basketball, but we would go to her games and they would like throw her the ball and she would like want to like close her eyes and like turn away, and they'd be like, open your eyes. Cause she was like, this sport is horrible. Like, why did they make me play it? But everyone begged her to, because they were just like, we need this tall girl on our basketball team.
Yeah. I think when you're a big person, you're either taught to be like, use it, or you're taught to be like, chill. Like you could hurt someone. But I think I was always like, people are always like, all right, like let's not make him mad.
So it's like hurt someone or be careful, you could hurt someone.
Yeah, exactly. They're like, hurt someone for our team.
Right.
It's funny you talk about hurting people.
Mm.
Because
Oh.
right now, what's
I'll rate that one
arguably
a 6 out of 10.
Jason's character has got the upper half of this body in his mouth, having the other half cut out from beneath it inside of this mill. And while this weird, bloated thing is dead, the living mask on top of it, the sort of crab-like mask that had parasitically burrowed into its face, has just disappeared.
Cannot be good.
And while that's happened, you have your dwarf Watson unconscious on the floor, choked in unconsciousness by the chain from this now cleft in two person, laying there, and the rest of you sort of standing around. And there's a man whimpering and cowering behind a stack of like construction lumber in the back of the mill.
First thing I do is open my mouth and let this body drop.
And all the just like, I'm not going to get too disgusting because it's the opening of an episode. People made it through the last one. So just this like very rotten meat of this like weird body just falls out of your mouth. And it's disgusting. You're still sickened, so I imagine it takes you a minute or two to calm your stomach. So
I'd also be interested in when I'm done throwing up, trying to find this invisible monster.
You know, go ahead.
I have blind fight. I don't know if that's going to help at all.
Do you have any other senses beyond sight? Precise or imprecise? Like scent or tremor sense or anything like that?
Oil senses.
And of course, you also have an unconscious dwarf over there, which is sort of like a sense.
You probably hear like...
I don't think so.
Okay. Well, you want to give me what's your perception bonus? While you're retching, is anyone else looking around for this thing?
I'm not looking for the thing, but I'm going to make a beeline.
Some nice sound work there.
I'm going to make a beeline for this handsome coward that's over here.
Excellent.
And
Oh, me?
no, you're the unconscious handsome coward.
Oh, okay.
No, this handsome coward who greeted us in this building. And if he's still over there just kind of like huddled up, I'm going to...
He's just sort of whimpering.
Yeah,
I'm
gonna come over like dagger out and up against his throat.
Don't kill me, please. No, do not kill me.
I'm just gonna be like, who is that? And why did they tell you to ask us about the mask?
Just violently throwing up in the back.
I'm sorry about my friend.
Oh, God, it's coming out in chunks.
And can I do like an intimidation?
Yeah, roll an intimidation.
I'll work on helping out Watson.
Okay.
There's like a swift smack to the face.
Yeah, pretty much.
Hit you at the end of his halberd.
The butt of the pole arm across the jaw.
The 35 to intimidate this fool.
And he's terrified.
I see we win. We won. Good.
That's old man right there. Oh, we won.
Oh, excellent. She's like, tell me.
Vayun, and looks over and sees the body that he's referring to as Vayun just in two pieces on the floor.
Bayun is in two pieces, and if you don't want to answer my question.
No, they said that they would kill me if I did not comply. They just said to sit here and swing the hammer, and when people came in to ask them the questions, to ask them if they wanted the invitation or why they were going or who their allies here in town were, and that's what I did. No,
Who told you to do that?
Vayun didn't.
That and the vivisected guy is Bayun.
Good word.
Good word.
Thank you.
Yeah. You know what? Because I need to hand them out a little bit more. Have a hero patch for vivisected. I'm just going to be really arbitrary in handing these out.
35 medicine to treat your sickened condition.
That's enough.
Oh, thank you. I feel better.
They
Where
was
am
who
I?
told me to do this, to lure people in
You
here.
should stand
no?
up now.
He's crawling along the floor to you.
Just rolls.
I love that there's this poor, just terrified man who's watching this, like, just absurd, like, this is like airplane style humor in the background, just playing out as you two just in a pile of your own sick trying to help each other.
Do I get the sense that he's telling the truth?
That'd be a sense motive. What's your perception bonus?
Plus 25.
Seems extremely scared. You don't know if that's a good or a bad motivator, but you're not picking up like guile, you're picking up terror.
Okay. So she's just gonna, like, kind of push him back and let him go.
I did it was right. I'm so sorry. I tried to follow what they said for me to do.
Can I do a medicine check on the body?
Yeah.
And I have something that I have to find in this gigantic character sheet.
Of course.
While you're doing that, can I actually throw in one other thing?
Yeah.
Could I just do like a society check on Vayun, or like the name of the guy who told him to do this?
Sure.
And see if I like know anything about him. Is he like prominent?
What's your society bonus?
Plus 29.
Okay, so you don't know. The name doesn't ring a bell. It sounds like a common Galton name.
Okay.
But you do get a better look at this thing, and you're able to recognize it. It's a very rare kind of creature. It's something called a Gurgist.
Ooh.
Which you know to be a mortic creature, touched in ways by the plane of negative energy, but not itself undead. You know that the big thing is they have the ability to consume raw meat to reverse the putrescence decay of their own body for an hour. And if they do so, they no longer appear to be the bloated humans they are. This one, though, had not, obviously.
It's like Invasion of the Body Snatchers, like it takes time.
Kind of.
Only not communists.
Should I be at all surprised to see this type of creature here?
It's strange, but you're dealing with the Grey Gardeners and everything about them is unknown.
Okay.
Can I search a body in hopes that there's an invitation in here somewhere?
Sure. So you start picking through the pieces of that body. There's not much on it. It has its executioner's hood. It has a +2. I'm just going to go ahead and hand wave some stuff. +2 greater striking spiked chain. Most of you probably have at least a +2 or greater striking on your weapon. So like if you absolutely had to transfer it, you could, but it's not crazy good.
We could sell it.
So what's everyone else doing? You're checking this vivisected body.
Mushed black body of what's his name?
Vayun.
God, I thought that was like a person standing over here.
See, I told you I was a coward.
I'll check in with Handsome Man, and I'll say, "Who's Vayun to you?"
They were no one. They came with the hood, the garb of the gardeners. When they ask you, it's death or what they say. And I wanted not death, but you, thank you. You saved me? And he kind of gives you this look of like, are you also going to kill me? Or like, we cool?
That remains to be seen.
Please, I did not want to be the bait for this trap. I felt horrible each time someone came here asking.
How many were killed before us?
At least those back there, and kind of points behind some of the lumber.
I guess when you say that, I like stand up from the mush of body and like reluctantly start to walk towards the back.
As you go back there, you're able to
the doctor by his elbow.
You're able to find a couple of bodies
Where are
back
we going?
there. You find a pale gnome
We are going to find dead body.
and a rather muscular-looking human body. 2 bodies back there.
So yeah, forensic examination on them.
They were choked to death and killed. It was like with that chain, most likely. They do have some gear on them. The gnome is wearing a bandolier with let's see, it has a major alchemist's fire, a major
Bummer.
eagle eye elixir, and a pouch of embossed cards reading Halapor Snimwalt, alchemist for hire. The large muscular man has sort of hunter's clothing, and he's got a satchel in it with all the components you'd need to build some sort of like snare trap, basically.
And that's it. No money.
Yeah, that's it.
What I want to know is why would these people want to get an invitation to this? Like, if everybody's afraid of the Grey Gardeners, why would somebody want to be getting into this?
I just don't think we've ran into the people who do want to go yet, or who like are intended to be. Or this is a ploy to get a bunch of people in a room and get them face hugged.
In the background, there's
Either way, very troubling. Yes.
it's It's kind of standing in the background, a little timidly, wringing his hands as the handsome coward. Here, may I please go? You my saviors, yes? No?
Are you hurt, you handsome young man?
Making it weird. No. I think I could go if I'm fine. No,
I'm gonna grab him, both hands.
Oh, hey.
Not you. The handsome man. Like both hands by the collar and kind of pick him up a little bit. I can roll an athletics check.
Yeah, do it. Roll an athletics check for me.
See if I get him off the ground.
Now, does this not your character? What does he sound like?
I'll tell you
Oh, okay.
Where's Harvey Dent?
in a second. What is your name?
I am Calens Massini.
These French names, I can't understand anything you're saying.
No one can understand the French.
These Galtian names.
I am Calens. I'm a banker in town.
What are you doing here?
One of the gardeners, they cornered me in an alley and said I had to come, or they would kill me and my family.
I want to sense motive.
You want to sense motive on
Yeah.
that? What's your bonus? It's a secret check.
For diplomacy?
No, sense motive is perception.
Perception, that's right. Perception is 24.
Yeah, he's just terrified.
Okay.
You're not picking up any guile. There's a little bit of guile when he says family, but you're not really sure what that means. Something seems weird. He's got a little bit of a tell there.
I lower him back down and kind of straighten his collar out.
Mm-hmm.
Go home.
Thank you so much. Who are any of you? What are your names?
Valentine
have
says,
saved me.
I'm not going to tell you my name, but don't tell anybody what you saw here. If they
Of course
ask
not, no.
you what became of Vayun, just say he never showed up,
I know no Rayun.
or we will find you.
No, of course. And sort of looks like looking for a name, just like
You can tell him you saw me. My name is Knight Seraph.
That with a W or just a RATH.
With a W.
Oh, okay.
like a K in night, or just like in IGHT.
Like
Yeah, that's a
the
good,
night.
that's a good question.
Actually, could you just write it down?
It's possessive.
It's in the card.
You look. NW. I should leave it there. Come. No.
Knights. Hold on. He takes out one of the cards and writes it down.
Okay.
Tell them
That's
you
two,
saw me.
You know, that's two words that both have a silent letter at the beginning of them. That's very confusing.
Well, no, he does not. He says there starts with the in.
Oh,
Not
see, how could we possibly know which one you're
no,
talking?
so look, I owe
I'm
you.
about to bite both of you. I spent 3 days coming up with this name.
Maybe we'll have to spend longer or workshop it some.
I have other options if we need to change it.
No, I'm not going to lie. I really like it.
It's very scary.
We'll tell them you saw me.
I will, but except for the part where I tell no one, I'm getting mixed messages.
Me. Just me.
Okay, just you.
No one else was
No
here.
one else.
Before you leave,
No one.
Okay.
do you know why they chose this location for an ambush?
I have no idea. It's been on the outskirts of town for a while. Perhaps it's just an easy place to be. No one can hear what happens here.
Is it being renovated?
I think so, but I do not know.
You know the purchaser.
I could find out for you.
Do that.
I will leave word. Come to the Bank of Litron. There will be an account there under NW, just the initials.
Fine.
Let them know that the account was opened in care of Calens for NW. Look, I owe you my life and what I have
One
Come.
more question.
to the bank, and I shall leave for you. I owe you for this. I have found that information, and I do not have much, but it's yours. I would have nothing if you had not been here. So come to the bank, ask for that account, and you should find in it something that might help. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Wait, before you go.
Oh, of course, yeah. Scary woman who split a bullet with her knife. That's fucking crazy.
That
Yeah,
is
it was pretty sick.
fucking cool. I'm not going to lie.
Thank you.
I can't tell
Not
anyone
something
about
I
it.
expected.
No.
Focus up, okay?
Oh,
Sorry.
Do you know anything about the mask that he was wearing?
He had that hood, that
Did you ever-
executioner's hood. Couldn't see his face, so that is.
You never saw it?
I just saw the hood.
You never saw the creature on his face.
What creature?
You don't know shit, man.
All right, get out of here.
Thank you
Don't
so
know anything.
much.
Go home.
Go back to your fake family.
We'll come tomorrow to take your money.
Oh, okay, thank you. And he heads off back to town.
Wait. Before
Oh,
he
no.
leaves, Watson like takes out a piece of candy from his pocket, hands it to him, and he's like,
Give this to any children in your family.
Of course, thank you.
It's just a piece of candy. It's fine.
There's razor blades in it.
Jesus.
There's a gun in it.
So
You have like Scooby Doo stickers that you're giving out to people.
yeah, basically, yeah.
it's a Werther's original.
Yeah.
No, it's a cream saver.
No. It's a Wutzer's original. It's like a Werther's, but dwarven. It's literally rock candy.
But literal rocks.
Oh.
It's slightly, it's like candied rock, like candy and almond.
It's not even packaged. It's just like in a pocket in his clothing. He just kind of like
Gross.
lets it drop from his fingers.
Yeah, a bit of rock candy for the children.
Some rhino hide sprinkled on top.
Yum. So what's next for this group? It's the evening now. It's it's probably closer to like by the time you made it out here and dealt with all this after. It's probably about 7:30. So bedtime.
I mean,
for,
I would probably battle medicine everybody through or treat wounds for everybody through the time periods required.
Yeah, go ahead and make some checks because time is a factor, so I don't want to hand wave it, but I know that for you it's pretty simple. Just kind of really quickly going around the room, how many hit points away from max are people at right now?
51.
50 down,
45.
45
About
down.
50.
43.
Okay, so literally one check, successful check, if you're calling the shot, we'll pull it off.
That is exactly a 40.
Okay, so that's 65 plus your dice, and that's enough. So 10 minutes of work and everyone's patched up.
That's so much.
Thank you.
He is a legendary surgeon. He's one of the best surgeons in Galarian. It's also kind of a fun thing because, I mean, Jason, are we lifting the veil a little bit, or does the group not know what's going on here?
No, they don't. They can roll some checks if they want to.
Yeah, I would actually like. Oh, so once we get all healed up, Valentina is going to kind of look at. She already kind of knows what the deal is with Watson, but she's going to look at the two of you and be like, "Who are you?"
Yes, this is a good question.
They call me the Night's Watch.
The night.
The Night's Wrath. Sorry, the Night's Wrath.
Yeah, I got that much.
I'm a hero of darkness.
A hero of darkness. Oh, I don't. It sounds very scary.
Very scary.
That's the
Okay, and
intention,
you?
Yes.
Oh,
I believe I told you who I was. I was not concealing anything.
He is not lying. I know this man.
Yeah, but how can you teleport yourself around?
that was pretty cool.
How do you cut bullets in half with a knife?
That's a fair
With
question.
a knife.
This is Pathfinder.
How do any of you do any of the stuff that you did in that combat?
Why are you wearing a rhinoceros?
There was a time that I did terrible things to rhinoceros. It was.
He's gone.
It was hundreds of years ago.
Literally everything you say is funnier than
Stop it, you're going to make me cry. It's too funny.
It's too terrible to remember. I'm crying. I'm having trouble keeping my Eastern European accent while you are doing French.
I was
it's really
going
confusing.
British. I was like, don't do French, don't do French, don't do French.
I had to stop and okay, Russia, yeah, blah, blah, blah. All right, I got it.
That was the first good cry laugh of the podcast.
That's a cutscene we have to see. It's the rhinoceros.
Flashback.
Given that he can speak to animals, I really love the idea that what if it's him doing palliative care for a rhino? He's just trying to keep it from feeling too much pain as he dies, and the rhino's whole family's there, they're sad, but they know it's the right choice.
I'm going to write this scene tonight.
I think we should have an entire episode that's just that rhino's life from birth forward.
Oh,
Until he
my
meets-
God.
Until he
What's
meets
the
Watson.
rhino's name?
That's
What was
the
his
James.
name?
David.
Ronald Rhino. It's all animals have alliterative names in my
I am
world.
crying. That is so funny.
Oh, it's like, what's that Star Trek episode in which like he just like has the memory of someone else's entire life?
Picard gets hit by an asteroid and like lives somebody's entire life, and then he like wakes back up and they're like, oh yeah, you've just been whatever. Yeah, they're like, you've just been unconscious for like 5 minutes. But it's like in his mind, he has lived an entire life.
Isn't that a Rick and Morty game? It's like the guy that they live his life or whatever.
It's riffing off of that episode.
This guy was on a planet that was dying, so he like uploaded his consciousness to this rocket and like shot it into space, and it runs into Picard, and so he like lives this guy's life. And I think we should do that for the Rhino. I think it's only right.
Oh. All right.
Watson's old, but he's lived the lives of thousands of rhinos. And to honor them, he wears their dead bodies.
He kind of like, gently rubs the rhino's skin and he's like, poor Ronald.
Can I do some sort of check on these fools? And
yeah.
Just kind of, I want to, I don't know if that's like perception or what, but I want to size them up and see if I can kind of gauge anything about them, what's going on, if they seem generally like they're telling the truth or what their deal is.
Yeah, it's a perception. What's your bonus? It's a secret
Plus
check.
25.
Okay. What's your deception bonus, Jared? And what's your deception bonus on this, Jason?
30. The DC is 38.
Okay.
20 is my bonus.
So Fox,
let me
Fox is, you're reading Fox pretty straight. Doesn't seem like he's hiding anything. You cannot read Mr. Wrath over here.
Whoa.
Mm.
You're getting nothing.
I didn't go to school to be called Mr. Wrath. I am Dr. Wrath.
Dr. Wrath.
Doctor, fellow doctor.
Doctor.
Mr. Wrath is my father.
Where do you come from, Mr. Knight, Wrath Man?
I don't have an answer for you right now. Hold on, let me think.
Do you mind if I search your person for perhaps a bite of a wolf or a similar fanged creature and would be looking for lycanthropy, perhaps, or some sort of...
Wait, I'm sorry. Can we stop? Did you say lycanthropy?
Yes, what are you talking about? It's the way it's pronounced.
All right.
It's when you get licked by a werewolf and you only become a little wolfie.
It's like they want to come over and say hi.
Legendary doctor here.
I am not a vampire. I am a dampier.
Oh.
I was born of a curse.
Oh, it's terrible.
Well, there are many like me, but I have not had the worst life. And I like to use my abilities to right the wrongs of the world.
Oh, I can respect that.
Are you a vigilante?
Did you just say vigilante?
All right. Vigilante? Lanty?
Yes, thank you.
All right.
Vigilante?
Gail Gadot.
You met my alter ego today.
It wasn't you? Or?
It was me.
Oh, this is very confusing.
I just choose to hide my face during the day.
Oh.
But that's all. I am no danger to you.
Does it hurt you to be in this form in the day?
It does not. I actually have a great affinity for the sun.
Oh.
And you can heal me during the day. Doctor.
Oh, that's good to know.
With magic. You cannot heal me with magic at night.
That's very good to know.
Maybe you should have told me that.
Well, I was making an entrance.
Oh, you made
the
it.
whole thing. Yeah.
Friend.
There's still glass in the floor from the shattered window up there.
Should we follow up with our next lead tomorrow, or are we overnighting? Because I've got to tell you, I won't be very good in that scenario.
Well, it is early enough in the night that if any of you wanted to gather information on other things, there's probably, it's about 7 o'clock now, 7:30 to get back to town. You've got 2 to 4 hours, give or take. It's probably 1 to 2 blocks of some gather info time if anyone wants to do that at night. Of course, it's nighttime in Galt, in the home of the Grey Gardener, so I wouldn't call it safe, but it's an option.
Val is definitely going to do that, being stealthy as hell.
This is like what I do.
Yeah.
You are the night.
I am the night.
I mean,
Wrath.
Val would even be open to teaming up in the way we did earlier of like, if I'm even out a little bit more, just going the same direction, but she really wants to check out.
You want to be friends with me now?
No,
That's good.
I just want a creepy bat bodyguard.
I don't turn into a bat. I turn into a wolf.
Is it racist to ask if you turn into a bat?
I turn into a wolf. No, it's not
I'm pretty
racist.
sure he's a bat.
I'm not a bat. That's racist. Continually saying, yes, you do. That's racist.
It's certainly not very understanding.
Intolerant. It's intolerant.
The problem is too is that so like in my mind Val is kind of a dick, but she's also like has a really high charisma score. So I'm like, I really should play this better, like
same.
being nicer.
Yeah.
But
I would argue charisma is not like in this game is not always like how liked you are.
yeah,
It's just how personable you are. If you're evil, how manipulative you are.
right.
I mean-
And my interpretation of her is that she can like definitely turn it on, but
Yeah.
it's kind of an act.
Yeah, I mean, I have a ridiculous high charisma score too, but I'm a vampire that kills people at night. So
Trump has a very high charisma, if that means anything.
cut the mic. Can you
Cut
cut
the
that?
mic. Cut the mic.
No.
I mean,
For
Yeah.
literally
He
what
does.
the definition of the word is. That's
where,
that's what
yeah,
makes him.
most like what do you call them? Authoritarians.
Yeah.
have very high charisma.
Right.
I mean, I was just going to
Charisma
say,
score is out the roof.
like,
Yeah.
kind of throwing it back to our opening. Isn't that sort of like a popular girl trope to be mean and persuasive?
All
You're
right.
playing yourself in high school again.
Yeah, it's cathartic.
In high school, Jane could also split bullets with a knife.
Yeah, and
was a
Val
butter
plays soccer, so
You know, I don't feel comfortable allowing you 2 or 3 to run along on your own without me being there. You do seem to tend to get into some dangerous scenarios. Perhaps I should come along.
so
We will keep you safe.
Val
I
is
appreciate that.
pretty much just intending to gather information on Orvald Garmino and not Zendaya. These two other leads
it.
that she's been told might very likely be attending this party. But particularly, she's going to start with Orvald Garmino, the head magistrate, and she wants to just kind of like spy on him, observe, and see if she can figure out like where he lives or what he does, who he's interacting with, and stuff like that.
All right, so that's going to be what's your diplomacy bonus to gather? Well, you're kind of asking.
I'm
to
not
do
trying to go
3
talk
different
to him.
things
I just
there.
kind of want to like spy.
But you did ask to find out where he lives. That'd be gather information. Stalking him to find information is another. So it's kind of a lot to maybe do in one night.
Okay.
But you certainly could go into that. That being said, you know a decent amount about him kind of already, even without making some checks. You know that he's one of the most influential people in the Tran. There are circuit magistrates that decide cases throughout the Horun Plain, which is sort of this region, but serious cases get remanded here to Litran, with him being the sitting magistrate. And you know that his office is in their judicial building.
Yeah, so I'd maybe post up outside that office and see if he's like coming out of work or something.
Sure, if you want to, you're going to spend the night doing that.
Not the whole night, but like an hour probably.
So I'm going to say like sort of commitments of 2-hour blocks of time to
I'll
actions.
spend the first 2 hours after we kind of get back to town just scoping that out and seeing if I can like catch a view of this guy.
What's anyone else doing? Let's kind of go clockwise. Jason as a Knight's Wrath now.
The Knight's Wrath.
The Knight's Wrath.
I would say that I'm doing the vigilante thing, but I'm also kind of like providing distant security, like a distant eye for Val as she goes through everything, making sure. But I also want to kind of look for what's the word I'm looking for? Routines of guards, things like that.
All right. So I got that. Jared, what's Fox up to?
I think Fox is going to split the party. He's gonna
Do it.
He's gonna go over to the Patriot. What's it called? The inn he's gonna stay at.
The stalwart
The
patriot.
Stalwart Patriot.
Yeah. It's just a very nice local establishment.
He's going to take multiple paths back to the healer's house
Okay.
to kind of have a familiarity with the fastest ways to get back.
Okay.
If he were to be, for some reason, needed to get back to the rest of his party, he would like to know the quickest route.
Sounds good. So you spend some time mapping that. Trent, what is Watson up to?
So Watson, if Val and Knight's Wrath are working in circles, it almost sounds like. Watson's kind of staying between them, but he's hanging out like in the shadows of areas, talking to raccoons he comes across.
Sticky note.
Okay.
He just kind of wants to make sure that the raccoons know that he appreciates them and that their fears are important too, and that they deserve to be.
I fucking love this character, man.
That they deserve to, not be afraid.
All right. So despite everyone else being French in this city, I'm going to do my best. Give me a second here. So, what you looking for? Yeah.
Oh, hello. What's your name?
My name's not important.
Oh, well, hello, not important. My name is Watson Himmelkale. I come from a nearby city. How are you doing today?
So I'm doing good. I'm doing good.
Nice. Do you have you seen any strange goings about?
Yeah, there was this. It's funny you mentioned that, right? There was this dwarf, right? He was talking to this songbird earlier, just fucking laughing it up all day.
Oh, that was me, friend.
Oh, so I guess the weird thing here is just you.
Yes, I suppose you're right.
From the mouth of a raccoon.
So, well, on your way, friend. I hope that you have some nice meals tonight, and it was very nice to meet you. Not important.
It's been a thing. And he runs off, washing his hands.
What a kind young gentleman.
Washing his hands, that is a well-behaved raccoon.
Yeah, like a little raccoon hand thing.
Oh, they're ringing.
Yeah. All right. So, Jane, what's your stealth bonus?
Stealth is plus 27.
Okay. So you hang out outside of it. You don't see the signs of anyone coming out of the building. At this point, it's like almost 8 o'clock at night. So spend a couple hours there, 10 p.m. Don't see anything. Fox, you're able to kind of search around a little bit and find some good different routes. It's familiar enough where you're not going to have to make like a new check, or you'll get a bonus on a check to find a good route through what's going on.
Perfect.
And you're kind of keeping an eye on movements, looking for people doing stuff.
Oh, yeah, I'm looking for guards and gardeners, where they're walking, if there's any like common routes, common guard change times, things like that. Also, while making sure Val doesn't get shot in the face.
All right, I got your stealth bonus
Thanks,
here.
bro.
I'm just gonna go ahead and roll this. You're
problem.
not picking up on. You're not picking up any patterns. You don't,
Okay.
because there's not a lot of uniformed gardeners out, so you're not really sure what patterns to take is significant or not.
Okay.
All right, it's about 9:30, 10 p.m. Probably have time to get another 2-hour block of something in, or time to go to bed.
I think Val would just head back to the Sweet Mama's herb house and
Soul Mother's Herbs.
Soul mamas.
and hit the hay.
All right. Anyone else doing anything with the evening?
Continuing to lurk about.
Oh.
No. What are you looking to investigate as you're lurking about?
Now I would like to go in and where's the party going to be in that
So the party is going to be in
the monastery?
in the monastery.
I'm going to go sneak around the monastery, look for where people are coming in and out.
All right. Take that stealth. What's your stealth bonus? I said I had it, but then I forgot it.
26, I believe. Yes.
Okay. All right. So here's the deal. Checking stuff out. You're looking around. What number is that? Oh, shit. Okay.
It's a 1.
Not. So this thing is locked down. You don't see a lot of ways in or out, but you do pick up some gossip. You hear that one of the final blades, these magical executioners' weapons, and when I say weapon, I mean like the full, guillotine thing. One known as Silent Lenore has been brought into the Gardener's Monastery. And the rumor is it's going to be a centerpiece of their upcoming event. These things are ubiquitous across Galt, but very few things are known about them.
Okay.
And you would also recognize that name. You, the player.
Say it again.
Silent, or Silent Lenore. It's the same blade that killed Dranek's mother some 20 years ago. Now, that being said, I think everyone else is asleep, right? You're all back in your beds. While you're up there on this roof, you've got another pan. This is a callback to a couple episodes ago. Because the camera's going to start off high, kind of showing you on a rooftop, maybe overhearing a few people talking. And it's going to start to sort of pivot down from a top angle to like a side view, you silhouetted against the night sky. It starts pulling out. You see the monastery backlit by the moon, the silhouette of you up on a rooftop, and the silhouette of another back of a head of a hooded figure watching you. That's where we're going to end.
Nice.
No.
Creepy.
I don't like it.
The Live to Die podcast is a production of Live to Die Gaming. Follow us on social media at Live to Die Pod. Leave a review and tune in next week for more. If you like the amazing background audio and music, all that credit goes to Syrinscape. Make sure you check them out at Syrinscape.com.